think I don't want Tony Romo to be successful. I put 4 years in with this guy. I want him to, I want him. I talked to him 3 times before I left there, one-on-one, 3 times. Not 1 time, 3 times.
What was the one thing you told Tony? You better do this or you're going to be in trouble.
You can't turn the ball over. You cannot do it. I mean, you look at the team with the teams with the most turnovers every year. You have to be judicious in your judgments with the ball. And if you're a quarterback that can't hold on to it when he gets tackled, or he's errant when he's throwing and not accurate, and it's just a question of time. You might get away with it for a while, but once they find out what you can't do and where you can't throw it, they take away where you can throw it, and it's over.
For Romo, it's never over until it's over. He's been exceptional in the 4th quarter, leading the NFL in passer rating last year. But he also struggled again in December, when you need to be playing your best football. Now, there are a lot of difficult things that go with the job of the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But one of the toughest is the level of play from 2 players who came before him. I was watching a replay of Super Bowl 13 a week ago, and Roger Staubach threw an interception.
Roger threw an interception?
I said it had to be computer generated, yeah.
I tell you what.
Roger didn't throw one.
I think Roger and Troy ever threw.
I think Troy threw 1. Roger didn't have any, so I know it was a computer generated thing that they just drummed up to make him look human. But you do have 2 iconic Hall of Fame quarterbacks that came before you for this franchise, and, oh, by the way, live in this town. And, oh, by the way, one of them did half of your football games as an analyst this year. Does that make it a little more difficult with those guys and that burden and that notion that, well, Troy wouldn't have thrown that in, Roger wouldn't have lost that fumble?
You can't compete against those guys. I mean, they did everything you could do in the game of football. I'm lucky enough to have them around to talk to. I always love seeing Roger whenever I see him because he's always giving me, something inside. Troy's been great too. I think once Troy saw that I might be able to play, he kind of...
No, I told him, by the way. Ask him, okay? He couldn't see it with his eyes. When you get big time in television and you have other people do work for you, I did the work for him there, and I said, this kid can play.
I appreciate it. I think, they both care. I mean, it's tough with Troy because he obviously has to talk about the games, and he's an ex-Cowboy, so you can't... it's a fine line in some ways, and I understand that side of it too. But they've both been very supportive and great, and I wouldn't change that. I think that's been more of a positive than a negative in any way.
The Cowboys are trying to figure out if wide receiver Terrell Owens is more of a positive than a negative. After acrimonious partings in both San Francisco and Philadelphia, he appears to be headed down the same path here in Dallas. Now, if you're a quarterback that has Owens on your football team, you have to learn to somehow find a coping mechanism to deal with the petulant receiver. Clearly, you tried to distance yourself a little bit from some of the games that he might have been playing last year during the season, but how did that affect your game?
Oh, it's just part of the game. I mean, every receiver on our team wants the ball in every possession. I mean, you went and pulled every receiver across the league. Each one of them is going to tell you they're open. Each one's going to tell you that they need the ball, and that's just, you understand that after you play the game long enough. I don't think about it the way that everybody else does.
All I know is that I just want to win. I'm a Cowboy, and I should be able to retire a Cowboy now, and that's the only thing that I'm really focused on.
You want Terrell Owens on your football team next year?
I think everybody on our team wants everybody back. We want to make another run and do it and show everybody that we can. I don't know. I don't make any decision. I don't pretend to think that I, control anything on that regard. I just think that our football team is excited to get back to work coming forward here, and if everyone's back who was there last year, we're going to be going forward and we're going to be excited, and it's going to be we're going to do some things a little different, but we're going to be excited to go forward and hopefully get this thing done next year. And it'll be exciting in the process because we're going to work our butts off this year. But if we, I know that there's always change every year on the football team. And I'm not talking about Tio. I'm talking about we're going to have different guys than we had last year at a lot of different positions, I'm sure. And we'll bring new guys in, and we'll have to get used to some others. So we'll see.
The old expression is that perception is reality, and the perception of Romo is that he has become the celebrity quarterback that Bill Parcells was trying to avoid. Now, I personally believe that the game's a lot more important to him than people realize, but there is that perception thing. There's a perception.
No, brother.
You don't like that word, do you?
No, because it's kind of a cop-out, but go ahead.
Okay, how would you phrase it? When people talk about perception, how would you phrase it?
Well, you could say, I've heard, this is another one that everyone uses, people are saying, so it's just part of a way to ask a question that kind of deflects from what someone might be feeling for their question.
Do you want to switch chairs?
No, I want you to.
No, come on.
No. Honestly, we'd only be able to talk about your career for about 5 minutes. So.
Okay, now I'm going to say I'm saying. No. Okay, back to the original. There is a perception that the Cowboys are a long way off. Like, boy, I don't know who was worse last year, Detroit or Dallas.
Yeah.
And then you look at it, and the two teams that were in the Super Bowl, you're in overtime on the road with Arizona. I won't say lose on a fluke, but that doesn't happen. Well, it never happened that a punt gets blocked for a touchdown. But then you go to Pittsburgh, and you're on the road there, and you've got a 10-point lead with 7 minutes to go. So does that tell you, guys, look how close we are?
The Arizona Cardinals, they get hammered 41-7 or whatever late in the season. You know, a couple times they get drilled, but they just try and make a few adjustments, and they stay together. All of a sudden, they're in the Super Bowl and have a chance to win late in the game. I mean, if you just stick together, you're going to go through tough times. You know, our team went through tough times last year, but it didn't mean that we couldn't still have accomplished our goals. And we couldn't be sitting here today saying, gosh, what a whirlwind, but it was well worth it. And we just, you know, we didn't keep that same ability to continue going forward and grinding it out, you know, and that was disappointing.
And do you think that's a mindset? Do you think is something amiss that?
Yeah, I think different individuals have different, you know, different mindsets sometimes. I don't know, you know, I'm not going to pretend to think that it was one guy here or one guy there or something like that. I mean, we all were in it together. You know, we all did it. So we're all to blame.
I have a whole bunch of Cowboy fans out there watching right now, we hope. What message do you want to send them?
What do I want to tell the Cowboy fan? There's going to be a different mindset on the football team next year. I said it before, everyone's going to give 100% each day they're out there, or, you know, our team's going to continually get on each other, and that's what you need. People are going to look at themselves in the mirror, and they're going to say, what do I need to do to improve? And when everybody does that collectively as a group, that's when you can accomplish your goals. And you'll come together and you'll stick together, and through the good and the bad times, because it's not always going to be good. You know, there'll be bad times this year again, and everyone will jump ship, you know. But the true Cowboy fans and the people that really believe, you know, and they're mad about this season just like I am. But next year, you know, they can come back and have a great sense of belief that this team has a chance to do something special, because it does. It really does.
And the score is not done yet, but a special thank you to Tony Romo for sitting down with us, and a special thank you to the Four Seasons in Las Colinas for providing us a place to sit down. Here is now the assignment for all media members and fans. Go on record, answer a simple question. Can Tony Romo lead this team to a Super Bowl? Place your bets now, and if you want to see more of this interview or you'd just like to see it again, you can go to CBS11TV.com. Score continues after this.